unlock your world one word at a time, because language isn't just about learning, it's about living. Learning a new language isn't just about words. It's about expanding your horizons, enhancing your career, and connecting with people globally. Whether you're a language learner or educator, the Languages Pedagogy Podcast is your go-to resource for expert insights, innovative strategies, and practical tips to supercharge your language journey. Tune in now to sharpen your skills, deepen your understanding, and join a community passionate about the power of language. Let's get started. Wonderful listeners, welcome back to another episode of the Languages Pedagogy Podcast. I'm so excited about today's topic because it's something that every language learner needs to tackle at some point. Creating a language learning routine that really works. We've all been there. You're full of motivation to start learning a new language, but then life gets in the way. Your study sessions become irregular, and before you know it, your progress stalls. That's why having a consistent routine is essential. A routine keeps you on track, helps you stay focused, and ensures that your efforts lead to real progress over time. But how do you create a routine that is both sustainable and effective? Today, we're going to break down how to build a study schedule that fits into your life, how to stay motivated, and which study habits will give you the best results. By the end of this episode, you'll have the tools you need to create a routine that supports your language learning goals and help you stay consistent. Ready to get organized and take your language skills to the next level? Let's dive in.
Audio Jungle.
Before we jump into the how, let's talk about why having a routine is so crucial for language learning. Consistency is key. Language learning isn't something you can cram for. It's a skill that develops over time through consistent exposure and practice. When you study a little bit every day or regularly throughout the week, you're constantly reinforcing what you've learned. This helps move information from your short-term memory to your long-term memory. Avoiding burnout. Without a routine, it's easy to swing between overstudying and understudying. Some learners will spend hours studying one day and then feel too burned out to study for the rest of the week. A routine helps you pace yourself so you can maintain your energy and enthusiasm over the long term. Tracking progress. When you follow a routine, you can see how far you've come. This progress tracking can be highly motivating, whether it's keeping a journal, checking off completed lessons in an app, or simply noticing that you're able to understand more during conversations. These small wins are proof that your efforts are paying off. Building a habit. By sticking to a consistent routine, you'll turn your language learning into a habit. Once something becomes a habit, it's easier to keep going because it becomes a natural part of your daily life. You no longer have to rely on motivation alone, which can come and go. Instead, your routine will help you stay committed even when you're not feeling particularly inspired. What are the takeaways here? Language learning routine ensures that you're making steady progress without burning out. It helps build habits that make learning a part of your daily life. The first step in creating a routine is to set clear, achievable goals. Without clear goals, it's easy to feel aimless and lose focus. Start by identifying your long-term goal for learning the language. Is it to become fluent for travel? To have casual conversations with native speakers? To pass an exam? Knowing your long-term goals helps you structure your learning and gives you a sense of direction. Once you've defined your long-term goal, break it down into short-term goals. These are smaller milestones that you can achieve along the way. For example, if your long-term goal is to pass the TOEFL exam, your short-term goals might be mastering a specific grammar point, expanding your vocabulary by 100 words, or improving your listening skills with podcasts. The more specific your goals are, the easier it is to create a routine that supports them. Instead of saying, I want to improve my speaking, make the goal measurable. I want to have a 10-minute conversation in French without switching to English by the end of the month. Use a notebook, app, or spreadsheet to track your progress towards each goal. Not only does this help you stay organized, but it also helps keeping you motivated as you check off milestones along the way. One of the exercises that you can apply here: take a few minutes to write down your long-term goal for language learning. Then break it down into 3 or 4 short-term goals that you can achieve within the next month. What are the takeaways here? Clear, specific goals give you direction and purpose in your language learning. They help you create a routine that moves you closer to your ultimate objective. Now that you've set your goals, it's time to design a study schedule that fits into your life. The key to creating a routine that works is to make it realistic and sustainable. When are you most productive? Are you a morning person, or do you have more energy in the evening? Schedule your language learning sessions during times when you're most alert and focused. This makes it easier to retain information and stay motivated. If you're just beginning to establish a routine, don't overcommit. It's better to start with short, manageable study sessions like 15 to 30 minutes a day than to try to study for hours and burn out. As you build momentum, you can gradually increase the length or intensity of your sessions. The most effective routines are consistent. Aim to study at the same time each day, even if it's just a short period. Consistency helps reinforce the habit and makes language learning feel like a natural part of your day. To avoid boredom and keep things interesting, mix up your study activities. For example, you could focus on grammar one day, listening comprehension the next, and speaking practice another day. Incorporating a variety of tasks keeps you engaged and ensures that you are improving across all language skills. Look for opportunities to practice your language skills during downtime, like during your commute, while cooking, or while exercising. Listening to a podcast, reviewing vocabulary with an app, or watching a video in your target language are great ways to sneak in extra learning without taking up additional time. Remember to schedule breaks. It's important to give your brain time to rest and process what you've learned. Whether it's a day off each week or short breaks during a longer study session, breaks help prevent burnout and keep you motivated. And here's an exercise that you can actually apply. Take out your calendar and block off times for learning languages that fit into your daily schedule. Start with shorter sessions and make sure they're spread out consistently throughout the week. What are the takeaways in this part? A well-structured schedule ensures that you're making steady progress without feeling overwhelmed. Start small, stay consistent, and find ways to incorporate language learning into your daily routine. To create a well-rounded routine, it's important to balance the 4 core language skills: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Let's break down how to include each skill in your routine. First, listening practice. Listening is one of the most important skills for understanding native speakers, and it's something you can incorporate easily into your daily life. Make listening practice a regular part of your routine by watching movies, listening to podcasts, or following YouTube channels in your target language. Here's a tip for this one. Choose content that interests you, and don't worry about understanding everything at first. Focus on getting the gist, and over time, your comprehension will improve. Second, speaking practice. Speaking is often the most intimidating skill, but it's also crucial for building confidence and fluency. Incorporate speaking practice into your routine by scheduling regular language exchange sessions, practicing with a tutor, or even talking to yourself in the language. Here's a tip for this one as well. If you don't have a speaker partner, try using apps like HelloTalk or iTalki to connect with native speakers. You can also record yourself speaking to track your progress and practice pronunciation. Third, reading practice. Reading helps you expand your vocabulary and improve your understanding of grammar, including reading in your routine by setting aside time to read articles, blogs, books, or even social media posts in your target language. Let's go with a tip. Start with short, simple text and gradually work your way up to more complex material. You can also use bilingual books or apps that provide translation for words you don't know. Fourth, writing practice. Writing is a great way to reinforce what you've learned and practice constructing sentences. Dedicate time in your routine to writing short journal entries, emails, or even text messages in your target language. Let's go with a tip here. Try to write something every day, even if it's just a sentence or two. Over time, your writing skills will improve and you'll gain confidence in expressing yourself. Let's get to this exercise now. Create a weekly schedule that includes dedicated time for each of the 4 skills. Make sure you're practicing all of them, even if you focus more heavily on 1 or 2 areas based on your goals. So what are the takeaways in this part? Balancing the 4 core skills ensures that you're developing a comprehensive understanding of the language. Incorporate each skill into your routine for well-rounded progress. One of the biggest challenges in sticking to a language learning routine is staying motivated over the long term, of course. Here are some strategies to help you stay on track and avoid burnout. First, celebrate small wins. This is one that I've actually just already talked, and I've already actually mentioned this in previous episode. Progress in language learning can feel slow, so it's important to celebrate your small victories. Did you complete a week of daily study sessions? Watch a movie in your target language without subtitles? Celebrate those achievements. Recognizing your progress, no matter how small, keeps you motivated. Second, find a learning community. Language learning doesn't have to be a solo journey. Find a community of learners who share your goals, whether it's an online forum, a local language exchange group, or even a friend who's also learning. Having a support system can help you stay motivated and accountable. Third, change up your routine. If you start feeling burnout, try changing things up. Introduce new resources, switch up your study methods, or take a break from one aspect of language learning to focus on another. Variety keeps the learning process fresh and interesting. Fourth, set realistic expectations. It's easy to get discouraged if you set unrealistic goals, like becoming fluent in 3 months, which this is one of the cases that happened with the institute or these training centers that actually just tell you that you will be fluent in any language in 3 months, 4 months. You will become almost like a native speaker. Don't fall for that one. Make sure your goals are achievable and allow yourself time to rest. Progress may be slow at times, but that doesn't mean you're not learning. Here I give you an exercise. Write down 3 small victories you've achieved in your language learning journey so far. Reflect on how far you've come and what has worked well for you. What are the takeaways of this one? Motivation comes from celebrating progress and staying connected to your reasons for learning the language. Find ways to keep things fun and engaging so you don't burn out. Finally, let's talk about how to use tools and resources to support your routine. There are countless apps, books, and websites out there. So how do you know which ones to use? Again, here we go again with the apps, and of course I've actually mentioned this one many times. The following apps, just like Duolingo, Babel, Memrise, and Anki, can be great for building vocabulary and reinforcing grammar. Of course, I've said it many times because they've actually worked, and there are many actually people around the globe that actually they use it for learning different languages. And maybe it won't make you like a native, like fluent, but of course it will give you a lot of vocabulary and it will help you to feel more confident about it. So these type of platforms offer bite-sized lessons that fit easily into your routine, making it simple to get a quick study session in. Another one, it's flashcards for vocabulary. Spaced repetition system, or SRS, like Anki or Quizlet, are highly effective for learning and retaining vocabulary. These tools space out reviews based on how well you know a word, ensuring that you revisit words before you forget them. Another one, grammar guides. Invest in a good grammar guide that you can refer to when you have questions. Many learners find it helpful to have both a comprehensive grammar book and a more accessible, user-friendly guide for quick reference. Another one that I really like and I always suggest my students is podcasts and channels, YouTube channels or any other platform where you can actually watch videos. Listening to podcasts or watching YouTube channels in your target language is an excellent way to practice listening comprehension while also learning about culture. Choose content that interests you and integrate it into your daily routine. Another one, language exchange platforms. Again, like I told you, iTalk and HelloTalk are invaluable for practicing speaking and connecting with native speakers. Schedule regular conversations to keep your speaking skills sharp. For writing, here we have also very good tools like Grammarly or language tools to check your writing and get real-time feedback. Writing regularly, even short text, will reinforce grammar and vocabulary in context. Here's an exercise that you can actually tackle. Spend some time exploring different tools and apps to see which ones work best for you. Try incorporating one or two into your routine and track how they help your progress. Now, what are the takeaways for this part? The right tools can make your language learning more efficient and enjoyable, of course. Experiment with different resources to find what fits best with your learning style and goals. As we wrap up today's episode, remember that creating a language learning routine isn't about perfection. It's about finding what works for you and sticking with it. Language learning is a marathon, not a sprint. And having a routine helps ensure that you're making steady progress without burning out. Start with clear goals. Design a schedule that fits your life and make sure you're practicing all 4 skills: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Stay motivated by celebrating your progress and don't be afraid to mix things up if you're feeling stuck. And well, before going to the next part, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. And I just want to remind you also that new episodes drop every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So make sure to tune in weekly for your dose of thought-provoking conversations. Also, you can find our show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. And you can also pay a visit to our website, www.mikeenglishonline.com, where you're going to find tons of resources, a lot of PPTs, a lot of books for free. Please make sure to subscribe, rate, and follow us for more. And thank you so much for joining me today on the Languages Pedagogy Podcast. I hope this episode has given you the tools and inspiration to build a routine that works for you. I'd love to hear how you're structuring your study sessions. What's working? What's challenging? And how you stay motivated. Let's keep the conversation going. And until next time, keep learning, stay curious, and remember, consistency is key.